y'all. So today I wanted to have a more serious conversation with you guys to shine some light on why or how I am who I am, or how I got like this, how I became who I am. I won't even say how I became who I am, but I'll just say who I was. So I was kind of disturbed about making this video because I had took the time to actually like study and do some research on trauma. You know what I'm saying? To kind of figure out some of the things that I was experiencing or have experienced, and how those same things made me who I was. I don't ever lose stuff, paper, whatever. I keep up with my stuff. So it had really upset me that I could not find my notes. Even right now, it's a blow. But before I got into my personal experience with trauma, I wanted to kind of give an overview and, some of the scriptures that helped me get through. And I just don't know where to pay back. Ain't nothing but a few places that I keep my stuff. So for me not to be able to find it is kind of crazy to me. But I'm gonna have to go out the dome. But anyway, I recently had a conversation with the kids, basically explaining to them how they got here. Shania know that she was a planned baby. So with her, me and her dad actually said we were going to have a baby because of the things that we've been going through. Definitely for myself, I had already been put out of my mom's home as a child for whatever disobedience, whatever took place. I got put out, and then I went to a neighbor's house to go wait on someone who I consider like a homeboy. Like, we cool, I thought we was good, like you darn near unk, never tried me. And then back then I had one of those Kia Sarah phones, and they had the chat line, like all type of stuff was going on. And I feel like in my innocence, I was taken advantage of. So this particular person took me to, I guess you could call it a trap house now, but back then I didn't know what it was. Dropped me off, and I was surrounded by men. So during this time, never had sex, nothing. But when I got dropped off, it was like everybody in the room had their turn. And to kind of play it safe, I won't say where it was at, but that situation, I think, was like one of my first childhood traumas that led into everything else. So like I said, I won't go into details of where it was at, but it taught me how to pay attention to directions. And that's what I teach my kids now. Don't let nobody put you in no car, uncle, daddy, cousin, whoever, even myself. When people are driving, get your heads out them phones. Look up. Look and see where you at. So you can always know how to get back. And there were certain landmarks around this particular house that I knew of because I had a family member who stayed in the area. So when I was there, I knew what area I was in, but I could not tell you which house it was. I knew how the door was. I knew it wasn't facing straight forward. You had to go through like a side part of the house. I knew all of that. So I'm calling this person who dropped me off, like calling. I had my book bag and everything. Like, oh my gosh, I had my book bag to go to school with me the next day. Just innocent, like, oh my gosh. And I feel like for a while I held that in. Like, I felt green, and out of anger I always like taught myself, like, I usually say the N-word. I'm not gonna say the N-word. I feel like a man, woman, whoever would never be able to try me ever again, like those green stages of my early childhood. I didn't blame my parents. I didn't blame, how I was brought up, or, oh, my mama shouldn't have put me out. Whatever took place then, I guess she had her reasons, or whatever it was, but call this person, they ain't answer. By the time the last person finished is when the person just pulled back up. So I'm crying. Oh my gosh. I can remember the clear book bag on my back. I'm crying and I'm like, oh, they did so. But it wasn't nobody in there. It wasn't nobody in there to point the finger. I don't know nobody's name. Ain't never been over there to say what's what. But he comforted me, not in a sexual way at all. He was just like, man, I got you. Like, let me get you from around here. And then he took me to another area I will never forget. That's the first time I learned this area. I know it by name. I even spent some of my adulthood riding over there, pulling up like I'm about to get my lick back. Like, you played with me. But he took me to this area, went in the house, and he was like, man, this is my sister's house, blah, blah, blah. You could chill right here. I'm still crying like blow, but I also felt safe. So I went to sleep up front on the floor. He went to the back of the house, wherever he went at, the apartment. He went to the back of the apartment, and I remember waking up, and he was there. It was like, oh, now it's my turn. I'm crying again. And he woke up, took me to school, and my whole life, I feel like, was centered around the events that took place from there. I really felt like anybody, whoever wanted it, could have got it, because all these folks just ran through. And that's the attitude that I had. But that next day in school, I remember writing a letter. I'm still in tears in the classroom. I wrote a letter to somebody who I consider a friend in high school. She read the letter and then immediately gave it to the police officers. Like, I had to leave out of class, go sit with the counselors or whoever, explain to them what happened. Then they took me down to the sheriff's office, or however I got down there or whatever. The detectives read over my letter and was like, oh, it sounded like you wanted this. Like, it seemed like you like what was taking place. Now, mind you, I am a child. Like I said, never had sex. Ain't got in no trouble. And this lady telling me that the way I wrote the letter made it seem like I wanted it. And I can remember what I said pretty much, crying in tears. I was like, these ends, so and so and so and so, like, but I guess because I was cursing or whatever, and how I wrote the letter, the lady misjudged me. And then everybody else too. So I really felt like, because of my family, for one, like, okay, this lady don't know me, but I really felt like my family ain't believe me. Like, boy, if ain't nobody else supposed to love you, your family is most definitely supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? The family members who do know now. I can't say if my mama called my aunt called whoever, it could have went down the whole food chain as far as I'm concerned. But nobody really reached out. I think they took what the lady was saying as what they was gonna go with. Some of the family had already been saying I was all kind of HOEs and all this stuff. I can't tell you what I did to make them feel like I was fast or whatever. But in that moment, after that, I was pretty much done. I'm talking about even to the point now where I'm kind of like, darn if you do, darn if you don't. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I just felt like, boy, family supposed to be all you got. That would they tell you. That would they teach you, ain't it? So I was a little bit confused at how my family ain't believe me. So then I could honestly say I went out. Like I said, I felt like whoever asked for it could have got it. Oh my gosh, I you talk about a messed up child? Messed up. I was messed up. I don't ain't trust nobody from that point. It was whatever. It was now that I have my own kids, my kids could tell me somebody look at them the wrong way, and I'm going off. Do you know how that feels to be a child out here lonely, like nobody love you type job? Like, what? But and then, oh my gosh, in the letter, oh my gosh, I even took the officers to the area, told them what the main person name was. It was just so many, whatever. They did a rape kit, all type of stuff. Children, talk to your parents. Listen to these kids, believe them. And that's it, man. Now, like I was saying earlier, I was telling my daughter I planned her, and that was my first traumatizing experience. And then from there, with my other two kids, I explained to them how I didn't even want to go through with the pregnancy on them. Even my son, I had to explain to him, like, boy, I'm trying to figure out how I'm 2 kids later, working this job, all kind of stuff happening. I'm still telling my mama, hey, so and so happened. She's not believing for whatever reason, in which I don't hold no grudge. This is not for me to expose my mama in any type of way or the rest of my family. This was just how I took it. And I feel like all throughout those years, I've been sparing my family. Like, all that holding in, not saying nothing, not really telling them what's up, to spare their feelings. Like, oh, I don't want nobody to have a heart attack on my dime. But in the end, it cost me, I feel like, my sanity, my peace, or whatever. And even how I move with people based off of that one situation. Man, it was so much. It was so much for me mentally. Man, I can look back at my childhood pictures and I just be like, whoo, this little girl right here. It's still kind of painful for me because, like I said, I feel like a child shouldn't have to go through all that and still not have the support of the family. And this conversation, period, is something that I have been battling with on when to release it. Should I release it? Sometimes it's more heavier than others. So I was just like, I'm going to go for it. It's plenty of times I procrastinated on telling it, but it can help somebody. So that's where I'm at with it. Like I said, it ain't to bring no shame to my folks. Ain't even much no conversation for me to have with my folks. For so-and-so to say, oh, it wasn't like that, or I didn't know that. I'm beyond the point of trying to convince my people like that was a real traumatizing experience for me. You know what I'm saying? I thank the Lord that by his grace, I ain't slipped all the way out there. I've had my moments, but I'm here. And that's that. Now, like I was saying, it did affect how I deal with men. How, oh my gosh, you wouldn't catch me in a room alone with no man. I even used to get uncomfortable standing face to face with a man. Like, I would hold my breath. It changed everything. I wouldn't let nobody have me in a corner by myself. I'm not about to be in all type of whatever dark alleys, whatever, however, certain things a man could say and it would make me uncomfortable. It changed a lot. Oh my gosh. You guys just don't know the cause and effect of childhood trauma. So, I told my son, like, even with him and my youngest daughter, like, I can remember punching myself in the stomach, trying to take all type of stuff just to not have these children from this man. Now, they both have the same father. I don't have any communication, no comma, no what's the word? No nothing. No contact. That's what I was looking for. Like, absolutely nothing. Oh my gosh. I just don't do all type of stuff. And like I said, that first situation really scarred me from men. I remember one time somebody told me that if I ever told my family, they was gonna kill us. Like, if I had the mindset that I have now, oh, it's over with. You couldn't, oh my gosh, you wouldn't have been able to threaten me. You wouldn't have been able to threaten me. And I already had a child by then. So, even when I told my people later on about that situation, I was like, oh, why you ain't saying nothing? What is there to say? You didn't believe me the first time. It only took one time for me. You didn't believe it. So that was it. So I had my kids back to back, ashamed. Oh my gosh. I even had church hurt because I felt like I grew up in this church, and the people who I felt had came in and said they had some love for me. I felt like when I had these children, it kind of put a wedge in between us. And then I really felt like they did everything else for my other siblings, but with me, they ain't really mess with me like that. So Um, that's just me and personally how I feel. That's how I took it. I don't want nobody saying, "Oh, sure, you took that all wrong." That's fine. I'm just telling you how I took it. Then, um, and I developed a I don't care attitude. You talking about rude, nasty, snap on you, your people, and whoever else. I really had a I don't care attitude. People used to say, "Oh, you just so dark. Why you so evil? All you watch is First 48 and How to Get Away with Murder and Snap and all this other stuff. When you gonna come out of that?" Like, I know. I felt like I had needed to be on my P's and Q's after that. Oh my gosh. But my son was the hardest pregnancy for me. When it was time to give birth to him, I still felt like I didn't want this child. But as soon as he came out, it was like I had developed feelings for this child that I had just had. And then his lung collapsed, barely made it. My God, she was in the NICU. I had to stay in the hospital with him for a week. I did not want to leave this child. Oh my gosh. Then when they got that lung situated or whatever they did, the other lung collapsed overnight. Like the child barely made it here. Whew. And up until that point, I still did not want this baby. So, like I said, by the time he came out, it was like, oh, this is my child. I'm crying. Don't know why I'm crying. I just automatically developed a love for this child. And even when I told the kids, they was like, God dang, that's cold. And then a lot of you might disagree that I shouldn't have told them, but I feel like how my people set up, not everybody, but how my people set up, I'd rather tell my children before anybody else have the opportunity to tell them. So they know I teach them to say something, boy. I don't care who it is, what they got going on, what they done told you not to do. You best tell your mama. You ain't got to tell nobody else, but you best tell your mama. Your mama is going to ride, because I done been through that. So, boy, trauma. And then I got to back that up a little bit. My first experience, I can't really say it was trauma, but it was traumatizing. I was still a kid. Me, my sister, and some girls were at a park. My mama let us go outside in this apartment complex. When we went outside, we went to the park, and I'm on the swing, or I'm playing over the swing. And I look down and I see a black bag and what appeared to be a basketball. So I go to playing with it with my foot, like scraping it or whatever. And I don't know if one of us picked it up or what. From that part, I cannot remember. I don't think I picked it up because it would have been in my head like the whole scenario. But I don't know what took place then. We ran home. It was blood. Ran home, or at least to the neighbor house of the little girl who we was outside with. Everybody came back to the park, and it was a maintenance man. And it so happened to be a dead baby. And all I could think about is my foot, my shoe, playing, kicking it. And it was a dead baby. Somebody had a baby in the apartment complex. And I guess they wanted to throw it away. But for whatever reason, they buried it in the playground. But they didn't cover it completely. And I was the one who found the baby and was really poking it. So I don't know if I felt like if the baby wasn't dead, I hope it become dead or what. But that experience right there kept me from Man, they could say it's a bag of money in the middle of the street. If I can't physically see it and it's not a bag that's sitting on top, I'm not touching it. Cloth, sheets, whatever. I would ride around it instead of going to see what it is. I don't care to know what it is off of that one experience. So I can't stand childhood trauma. I can't stand people to put children through trauma. I would never be able to understand why a parent wouldn't believe their child. I don't care how bad that child is, whatever took place, or something on a serious note like that. I can't vibe with. I can't wrap my head around it. And like I said, that's something I don't even think that anybody should experience on no level. And I had so much more I wanted to talk to y'all about. I think I even put down the order in which these childhood traumas took place. And now I don't know. I gotta find my paper because, like I said, I don't lose my stuff. So it is beyond me of why I don't have my stuff, man. But I did want to share that with y'all. Now, if my kids go wherever I go, I shouldn't be no place where my kids can't go. Man, Raise them to the best of my ability, from my experiences, from everything. Even how we have conversations about relationships. Oh, you want a little homegirl, a little homeboy. Wait on the Lord at an early age. I teach them about soul ties, how sleeping with all these different people have an effect on you. Yeah, like I was saying, these people have an effect on you. You just end up with all of these relationships that you possibly could have avoided. I'm not gonna say possibly. You would have avoided the crazy people, the folks that can't let you go, and they end up turning into domestic violence situation, abuse, or whatever else. So I just let the kids know what's up, man. Like I said, this is by far a video to expose my folks or anything like that. But I really do feel like what I shared could help somebody. So that's it, y'all. I am out. I hope that encouraged y'all.